Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. So there I was, which is how all great aviation tales begin. This is episode 56, titled Beware the Duck.
Oh, God. All I can tell you people right now, just pull over. Don't even try and drive while listening to this show.
This was
Your
one
own
of
safety.
those, oh my gosh, one of those episodes that like the Gunny Go episode where in the first 10 minutes I felt like I'd done 100 crunches. I laughed so hard.
Yep.
Almost all the way through the damn thing.
Another one right out of the gate at, 110 knots, whatever an H-34 could do.
Right. Yeah. So there I was. And then he fired off, man. Yeah. Holy cow.
So Gunny is a former H-34 pilot in Vietnam, and man, he's a man's man, a Marine's Marine, and he was a lot of fun. He came out shooting, and he hit his target every time he pulled the trigger. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. Such great stories.
What great stuff, and what a great honor to sit with a man who sacrificed so much to become a servant to his country. And we appreciate your service, Gunny. And this is going to be 2 shows. So we recorded almost 2 hours. We're going to break it up into 2 shows. So you'll hear a weird break. Probably I'll do the best I can to make it smooth, but there will be a break in the middle, and then we'll move on to the following week and go from there. But we've got a new sponsor this week, Fig. This is really cool.
It's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got HelloFresh on board, making sure that the show gets out to everybody here this week. So if you want to go to HelloFresh.com/SoThereIWas16 and use the code SoThereIWas16, that's SoThereIWas16 for 16 free meals and free shipping. Okay.
That's huge. Huge.
Yeah. America's #1 meal kit. If you haven't tried HelloFresh, you'll love it. We'll talk a little bit more about it during the show, but man, we're grateful to have them on board. And if you want to be one of the cool kids, run on over to the SoThereIWas.us/Patreon and sign up to help support us. Help get this show out to everybody every week. If this show isn't worth a buck, man, I don't know what is. So let's just get out of the way, huh?
Let's do it.
All right. Here comes the Gunny. Don't let go of the collective.
Don't let go.
On the tanker, through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that. Thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fun.
So there I was, turning off the 90 to come into a small zone somewhere near Nui Laxon. 3-7 had taken some wounded because they're taking fire from a tree line that was dead ahead of us. And as I'm starting to flare, all of a sudden there's kabooey, kabooey, kabooey. There's big explosions going on right along the tree line. And the grunt, the 1-4, says, "Clip Clop, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that shit before." And I start to pull off and I go off to the left. And then this voice comes in and it's the Huey that's riding on my wing. And he says, "That's my fucking rockets, you moron."
And that is how all great aviation tales begin.
Holy cow. We came out of the gate at 155,000 knots that time. Welcome. This is Fig. And, well, that's how all great aviation stories begin.
They do indeed.
Where's my co-horse today?
The co-horse RePete here, coming to you from New Hampshire. And we have a special guest with us tonight. He was actually brought to my attention by one of our listeners. Jarrett Burke, owner of Lou's Restaurant in Hanover, New Hampshire, wrote to me. That's a restaurant that was founded by a Marine back after World War II. Been in business ever since. Jarrett is a former 53 driver, I believe, CH-53 driver from the Marine Corps. Went back to New England and took over the restaurant. So it's still owned by a Marine to this day. So if you're in the Hanover, New Hampshire area, give Jarrett at Lou's Restaurant in Hanover a shout out. And he brought to my attention, he says, every first Friday of every month, they have a special get-together breakfast at 07. And he says, you got to chat with this guy. His name is Rusty Sachs. a.k.a. Gunny. So we have with us tonight Gunny Sachs, who flew H-34s and CH-46s in the Marine Corps. And in spite of
never touched a bite your tongue. Fix
he told me you said I could have sworn he said 46. So just 34s. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
So
geez,
sounds
hey,
good.
Slow down, repeat.
So anyway, we have with us in our presence tonight a great Marine, a great American. Thank you, Gunny, for joining us.
Yes,
thank
you.
Pleasure to be here, gentlemen. I've been looking forward to this. I don't know what I have to say that would be worth listening to, but I love to talk. I was trained as a lawyer after I got out of the crotch, and I can talk without even thinking.
That's saying something.
As most lawyers do. Hey, you know what they say about lawyers, right? 99% of them ruin it for the rest. So
that's right. But they bury lawyers at least 8 feet below the surface because deep down they're really good people.
Deep down.
Not just 6 feet, baby. Got to go deep.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. And before I forget, you had some crossover time in your squadron that you flew H-34s in Vietnam with one of our other guests. Is that correct?
Yeah, Spicer. I didn't fly. He joined just after I'd come home.
Okay.
Okay. And it wasn't until because of the inspiration that I felt from listening to episode 53 or whatever it was of So There I Was, that I said, that name's familiar. I think I'm going to order his book. And I ordered his book, and bigger and shit, he was in 362, just like me. He was one of the add-ons.
Okay.
I was not in the original squadron that went overseas on a ship.
Okay.
Okay.
But I was in that first wave of replacement pilots. I went over in 66. The squadron had gone over in 65. That's 1965.
Right. Which was a pretty damn good year for personal reasons for me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, really? Your parents both regretted it, though, right?
Yes, they
still do. Love it. Oh man, we're having more fun than we should be allowed to have. What can I say?
1966. Well, let's back up. When did you get in the Marine Corps there, Gunny?
I enlisted on Bastille Day in 1964.
July 14th.
Yeah, very good. He paid attention in history class.
It was also my anniversary, so I have to know it.
It was. July 14th. In September, I reported to Pensacola, Florida, for flight training as a Marine Aviation Cadet.
Marcad.
And the rest is history. I mean, we talk about these people like Jared Burke who attended the Pensacola of the Sea school in Annapolis, but they're those of us who are trained and got our commissions in Pensacola
by Marine Corps staff NCOs who
trained by Marine Corps staff NCOs who hated the place. They couldn't say all you got to do is teach drill. But did you know in Alabama, in the state of Alabama, if you check into a motel and you say you're married, you're a man and wife, you are. She can inherit from you. And,
oh, shit.
And that is, or at least it was in 1964, 65 maybe. That created a common law marriage.
Wow.
Sounds like that someone found out the hard way,
Somebody did.
Yeah.
I can't remember that guy's name. He was a Sergeant E5. He was one of the drill instructors in Pensacola. A good guy.
So what was the Marcad program about? How'd you get into that? I know the NAVCAD program needed 2 years.
Eyes like a hawk. You had to have either 2 years of college at an accredited school or the equivalent of 2 years of college. I had 1.5 years of Harvard. They said, shit, that's more than enough. I said, I did get kicked out. They said, don't worry. You only, as long as you had that 2-year equivalent. So they picked me up from Marquette and it went through flight training, and it was, except for the fact that we didn't have turbines in those days.
Right. Yeah. The H-34 was a piston engine, right? Was it single engine or twin when you got there?
The T-34 was a single engine piston, about
Right.
Yeah, you flew the
two and
Bravo.
a quarter, 250 horse. It was an opposed 6-cylinder probably.
Yeah.
Made by Beechcraft. That was the squadron where you go to see if you're going to puke too much and if you really want to do it. And
Right.
you learn some transition into it. You learn some procedures, do some basic acrobatics. Unless you're terrible at it, then you move forward. We got sent out to Whiting Field. Well, there was a screening process at the end of VT1, which was
Okay.
located at Sofley Field, west of Pensacola.
Right.
If you met a certain grade point level, you were allowed to go jets if there were slots for jets that particular week. However, Vietnam was starting and jet pilots aren't all that necessary. And helicopter pilots are. So although I qualified, I said, I don't even want to go. I don't want to fly jets. I want to fly helicopters. And the guy who was one slot behind me
Yes.
just loved my ass.
Right.
This is a reoccurring theme.
No matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
He was the guy who gave me the nickname Gunny, by the way.
Spice
Oh, nice.
had kind of the same experience.
But he'd been a grunt in Vietnam and saw the
Yeah.
helicopter pilots up close and personal and said, I want to do that. So
Yeah,
that's,
but
that's pretty cool.
he'd been a lance corporal and a corporal in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As an 0311 trigger squeezer.
That's right.
And then he came, and then he said, I want more.
Yeah. I want more of this. What are you nuts?
So I went through, flew the T-28, which is a big radial engine,
Mhm.
a couple thousand horsepower, 9-cylinder radial, same engine that was in the H-34.
Okay.
So went through all my BI and RI and stuff in the T-28, formation, nav. Don't want to bore people too much with the training syllabus, but
Yeah.
then came back to main side for advanced RI,
Radio instruments.
which was just wonderful because until about 2 weeks before I got there, they'd been flying the SNB, the Twin Beach.
Okay.
But now they were flying the T-28. And these instructors hadn't flown T-28s, if ever, for at least 2 or 3 years. And if you're really getting behind the aircraft on a maneuver, all you had to do was say, sir, I don't know what your instruments on the front seat are saying, but mine are looking kind of hazy here, and I can't really concentrate. I want to go straight and level and open the cowl flaps for a little while. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You want to? They'd go for that, and you get a break. You get to start all over. Then after getting through that, which was a couple of months maybe, then they sent us out to Ellison Field, where the helicopters were,
Okay.
and we flew H-34s. Now, when Spice was going through, they flew the Bells for 15 hours, maybe.
Oof.
Marines were not flying the Bells when it was going through. We went straight into the H-34s, which was great by me. I loved it. Ellison Field was a wonderful place to be because my best friend growing up was a guy named No Names, right? You only call signs.
Unless you're not going to get him fired. That no name policy is basically so that if someone's at a company right now and they did something stupid, we don't need to tell everybody about it. So
that's mostly the kind of people I hang out with.
Well, you're talking to Fig and RePete here. So
just call him Palm. He was the only, his father got killed at Guadalcanal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
His mother never remarried. Well, it turns out his father was the flight surgeon for the Black Sheep.
Oh.
I'll be damned.
And it turns out his father was a classmate in med school with my father, and they were friends. And we never found this out until Palm and I had been best friends for like 4 or 5 years.
How is that possible?
No kidding.
The marine aviation's a small damn field.
Boy,
Yes,
you
it
know
is.
that.
And Palm's parents had gotten married at Ellison Field in 1942.
Okay.
I got married in Ellison Field in 1968.
I'll be darned.
And life is rich. So get your wings. There were a couple of us who got our wings the same day. They were commissioning guys and giving them their wings on Tuesdays and Fridays. I mean, we were getting pumped through really fast.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like it was more than one a week.
So
Wow.
two days a week, every week.
Two
Wow.
days a week. Actually, I would have gotten mine on Friday, but my instructor had a cold or something. So they said, well, we'll just do it Monday. You can get your wings on Tuesday. So on Friday, I went to watch my friend, tall redhead, get his wings. And then there was this tradition. After you got your wings, you went to the club and you would drink an overboost. Now, you don't know what an overboost is in any way, shape, or form.
It sounds dangerous.
You fly fixed wing with turbine engines. An overboost is what happens when you give too much power to an aircraft engine at too low an RPM. It can beat the shit out of the engine. So we had this drink where you take a milkshake can. Remember those things that they made milkshakes out of?
Oh, yeah.
Back when there were real milkshakes and they had ice cream in them instead of all this powdered stuff. Anyway,
right.
Guy at the club goes down, gives it a squirt of everything you can imagine, fills it up with soda water, drops your wings in it and hands it to you, and you got to chug it. And you chug it and you chug it and you come with your wings in your teeth.
Nice.
So tall redhead's doing this.
All right.
And he brings it down. And, whoa. They said, where are your wings?
Uh-oh.
I think I swallowed them.
Oh, shit.
And he said, yeah, I'm pretty sure I swallowed them. I said, well, what the hell? Let's go get some chow. And we had agreed that we were going to go to Muston over at Mainside and get a steak.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the Muston Beach O Club. Still there today.
Indeed. So we went over there, and before they bring us our meal, he says, I'm too drunk. I can't eat. And I'm worried about these. I say, okay, why don't we just go up to the Naval Hospital Mainside and have them take a look at you? He says, yeah, I think that'd probably be good. And so he goes up and he tells them what's happened. Now he's checked out already, He got his wings this morning. Yeah. He's supposed to be at New River on Monday. So he has his SRB or his
service record, OQR, officer qualification. Yeah.
His OQR and his medical records. So we go up there, we go into the emergency room and say, I think this officer just swallowed his wings. Say what? No, well, there's this thing you do and you swallow, and he thinks that we better get an AP and a lateral and get some x-rays and stuff and take this x-ray. I'm bigger. And
they've seen it all at that hospital too, with crazy aviators running around. But
that's they come back with the x-ray and it's this 11 by 17 x-ray. Back when they actually did them with film,
Yeah.
And he's there and here he is. You can see his chest and a little higher than they ought to be. And at about 135 degrees angle of bank, but perfectly silhouetted, are naval aviators' wings. I said, yeah. So what am I going to do? How do we get them out? You're going to have to do surgery? I said, no, you're probably just going to pass them out. Eat a lot of bread. You'll pass them.
And that's going to feel so
check
good.
Your stools. So he says, yes, sir, I will. And the corpsman is starting to put stuff away. I say, no, Doc, you can't do that. This gentleman is already checked out. He has to check in. That's part of his medical record. You got to give that here. He said, oh, yeah, I guess that's right.
Yeah.
So he hands us the x-ray. The x-ray goes in the back of my car. Everything else goes up to
Gunny, tell me you've got that framed in your office to this day.
I wish I could, but when I got back from Vietnam
fantastic.
and I was checking in to the Ellison Field officers, BOQ, Officers Club it's sort of like the cry and shame.
Yeah.
The club was in the BOQ.
Yeah.
Framed behind the main desk is Redhead's X-ray with the X-ray that I purloined, and it's there, and there's a brass plaque underneath it that reads, and I recite it accurately, his rings of gold he wears with pride, not on his chest, but deep inside. Second Lieutenant B.A. Tall Redhead, date of March of something in 1966.
That is fantastic.
But Deep Inside, that's a show title there, man. But Deep Inside.
Now, they closed down Ellison Field. They sold it or rented it to the city, and it's now an industrial park. I don't know what happened to that X-ray, but somebody ought to have it. It ought to be me.
Well, yeah, right?
Right.
Jeez.
If anyone knows where that X-ray is, get us a picture
absolutely.
of it.
Yeah, we're looking.
Return it to the right form.
If he listens in on this, and I've lost touch with him, he might know, and he would have standing to demand it. It's part of his medical record for crying out loud. So then he joined the squadron overseas 8 months later. I said, "Whatever happened to the wings?" He said, "I don't know. I think that's wrong." He joined the squadron, the same squadron at 365 at New River.
Okay.
And he said, I guess I passed. I said, "You weren't checking your stools diligently?" He said, "No."
Right.
I guess they just came out because they ain't there anymore.
I was thinking that'd be another show title too. Just check your stools.
Yeah. There's a note here I have, just check your tools, but deep inside. Is that we talking about the same? Just check your stools. Yes.
Stools.
Okay.
Yeah,
Stools. Yes. I love it. That is
You
awesome.
just read it wrong.
Yeah.
I did. Okay. All right. Crowded bunker during a mortar attack.
in Dong Ha.
I sent this one into, not the Gazette, to Leatherneck a couple of years ago. They printed it only because I write so masterfully. We're at Dong Ha.
Yeah, but he's humble.
And I got a lot to be humble about.
There you go.
So we're at Dong Ha, and they're sending in the evening rockets. And they usually do it just about the time you're getting to sleep. And everybody's assholes and elbows tumbling out of the tents and into the bunkers and all that. And the Greek from Niagara Falls, we'll call him, since I don't know a call sign, and I think he became a cop, falls. He trips over a tent peg or something, and he's lying there, and he can't get up. And mortars are coming in. And he says, "Hey, guys, I'm right here. I can't get up. Give me a hand. Will somebody give me a hand? Come on, give me a hand." And Roger Zielinski, bless his soul, comes out, stands up in the mouth of the bunker. "Yay, Dick! Yay! Give him a hand." There were some fun events. He got in. He didn't get hurt. Ran into him years later. He was some kind of a cop, but I think he was sort of not letting on what he was doing. He's a good guy.
Okay. All right.
He was in my wedding too, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh man. I need to catch my breath here.
I know. I feel like
awesome?
I've already done about 50 crunches. Okay, Gunny. 11. What's this?
11.2.
11.2 of 3R6
with a bewildered fact.
Yeah, that was actually
bewildered fact.
Part of that I did in the intro. I was flying as FO with a guy named Fang, a good guy in the squadron, one of the best pilots I ever flew with. The guy really, really was wonderful. We flew. I meant to get my logbook and bring it over here, but I was so busy with the screwed up technology that I completely forgot. But I think we flew 6.8 before the aircraft got shot out from under us, and we had to abandon it, get a ride back to home base, get another aircraft, and then continue the mission. We'd had a whole bunch of, it was daylight, and there were a whole bunch of routine or maybe priority medevacs. Those are the ones you do in daylight. You at night you'll only launch for an emergency medevac. If it's routine, you don't. It's just too dangerous to go out there. On the second aircraft, and I think we flew 4.4, and if you add those up, get your calculator out. I think it was to 11. We flew 11.2 hours of 3R6, which is medical evacuation and insertion and evacuation from a combat zone.
Okay.
God.
That was the code.
But we're coming in, and all of a sudden there's this bam, 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 bam. right on the tree line where they're taking the fire from. And the guy says, "Get the hell out. I don't know what that is." And the Huey said, "That's my rocket, son." So we end up doing a full 360 to keep going the same way. And we get in and we pulled the
Oh,
case out.
geez.
That was a good day.
That is too funny. Oh, my goodness. At 11.2 hours, it's a wonder you didn't shake all the fillings out of your teeth.
Oh, my gosh, right?
11.2 hours in a comfortable wide-body jet is exhausting.
That's right. And,
I can imagine in an H-34, you are just hammered dog squeeze.
I hate to think what it would be like 11.2 in one of those lawn darts that you guys flew. Because you only had an endurance of about 1.5, right?
About, yeah.
And that's if
it depended. If we had drop tanks, we could go 3 hours. But
Gunny, I flew an airplane back from an exercise we did in Norway, into 200 knot headwinds, and it was 11 and a half hours.
How many refueling?
Yeah, tanking all the way. It was just horrible. I couldn't walk right for a week.
How many drinks did you have to take on the way back?
I have no idea. It was constant. It was constant aerial refueling.
Let's talk about some of the people who bring us this show every week. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, finding the time and energy to cook a delicious and nutritious home-cooked meal can be a challenge. Enter HelloFresh, a game changer in the culinary scene that I've had the pleasure of trying. My wife loves it because they do all the meal planning and the shopping for the correct ingredients and provide ready-to-prepare meals right to your door. Now, 2 nights a week, we eat a great home-cooked meal without the hassle of planning and preparing a menu and shopping for the exact ingredients. One of the first things that struck me about HelloFresh is the incredible variety of food choices available. The options span multiple cuisines, dietary preferences, and creativity levels, making every mealtime an exciting culinary adventure. Whether you're craving Italian pasta, Asian stir-fry, or a classic American burger, there's a good chance you'll find it on their menu. And with their commitment to high-quality ingredients, you can be confident that you're refueling your body with the best. When it comes to preparation, HelloFresh truly shines. Each meal kit arrives with pre-portioned ingredients, eliminating the need for measuring and reducing waste. This also means less time spent preparing and more time savoring the delicious results. Furthermore, each kit provides suggestions for adjusting the flavors to your taste, empowering you to personalize each dish. But what truly sets HelloFresh apart is the easy-to-follow recipe cards. Detailed yet simple instructions transform cooking into a stress-free, enjoyable process, accompanied by clear, step-by-step photos. These recipe cards make the cooking process almost foolproof. Yes, even I did it without a mistake. Regardless of your kitchen experience, these guides instill a sense of confidence that you're on the right track every step of the way. In essence, HelloFresh strikes a perfect balance between convenience and gourmet cooking. It brings the joy of preparing and consuming a wide range of delicious meals right into your kitchen with minimal fuss and maximum satisfaction. Whether you're a seasoned home cook looking for new inspirations or a busy professional wanting a quick yet wholesome meal, HelloFresh could be the fresh breath of culinary air you've been looking for. So what do you do now, you ask? Well, it's simple. To get the great deal, go to HelloFresh.com/SoThereIWas16 and use the code SoThereIWas16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. That's right. You heard right. 16 free meals by going to HelloFresh.com/SoThereIWas16 and use code SoThereIWas16 for 16 free meals and free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.
I went on R&R. Or maybe I'd been sent to a school in the Philippines. And they said, well, get there however well you want, which was sort of a way of saying, you can take your time getting there and take your time getting home. So I signed on as special crew on C-141. You know what that is? It's sort of like Hillsborough County with wings. It's enormous. It's enormous. So the guy says, well, come up, sit in the jump seat. I'm looking around. I don't even recognize any of the gauges. We get up and we get leveled off at flight level 690 or some goddamn place, way up there. And the guy says, oh, what do you think? And I'm too dumb to come up with an intelligent question. So I say, gee, what's your max gross of this aircraft? I mean, this is pretty big compared to what I fly. And he says, and the numbers might be a little off, 368,000 pounds. I said, whoa. I can't imagine anything taking off weighing that much. And he looks at me as if I'm the dumbest shit imaginable. And he said, we can't take off weighing that much. That's our max gross. I said, wait a minute. You'll have to explain that to me. What sense does it make to have max gross that's different from your max takeoff weight? And he can't believe how stupid I am. He says, we burn 2,000 pounds of fuel on our takeoff roll. Now, when I fuel up an H-34, I take on 800 pounds of fuel.
Right.
Okay. Right.
This is not right.
This is not right.
No.
But it was
Right.
It was fun. I didn't ask him to let me fly it, and he didn't offer. But we got to the Philippines okay, and then I got Liberty. That was fun. And I went to a school, of course. I went to school, and I learned important things about marine aviation.
Now, this is while you were on your tour in Vietnam that this all went down, correct?
Most of my life in the Marine Corps was in Vietnam. If I was in the States, I was usually at a Navy base. We'd take up all flight training and then be an instructor when I got back.
Okay.
Alpha
Battery 112 pet snake.
1st Battalion, 12th Marines, you had a pet snake? Tell me it was poisonous.
Yeah, because if it wasn't poisonous,
think it was poisonous. It was it was during the winter. It was probably during the cold rain of January and February of 67. And one of the typical missions would be to get fragged, to go out to a field station, within the wire at either an artillery base or a regimental base, and be on standby for whatever they need there. So we were out there with 12th Marines on standby, and some Marines come in with this really cold snake that's lethargic and doesn't want to move because they're cold-blooded, and it's easy. So they say, we got a new mascot, man. We've got a snake mascot, and this is a badass snake. Look at that head. Where are we going to keep it? Oh, well, they had done some excavation work, so we'll just put him down in the pit. They're pretty steep sides. He won't be able to get out. And they put these signs around it saying, danger, keep away. 12th Marines mascot, beware of the snake. And after a couple of days there, they just said, we got to feed this snake. So they went into the Ville and they bought a couple of ducklings, or I guess a duckling. And they drop it at night. They drop it into the pit with the snake, figuring the snake will eat a duck, especially if it's down there. Oh, it clipped its wing too. Clipped its wing.
Got a captive. He's got a captive audience, so to speak.
Captive rats here. So the next morning they come out. The snake hadn't yet ate the duck yet. In fact, the duck had pecked the snake to death. And got out there.
I was going to say, tell me the duck kicked the snake.
The snake's head looks like fucking hamburger. So everybody gets a good laugh, and then
don't screw with a pissed off duck.
Then the battery Gunny
comes the new mascot
and says, "Change those signs right now." So they changed the signs. Now the signs read, "12th Marines mascot, beware of the duck."
Oh God,
that's great.
That's great. A new show title. Beware of the duck.
Oh, that's great. I like that as a show title too.
Killer ducks. Beware of the duck.
Killer ducks. You gotta watch out.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks.
Engine failures at Site 8 Alpha.
Okay, you remember Site 8 Alpha?
No.
You might have used it for an emergency landing field when you were at Softly. Site 8 Alpha, and there was Summer Hill and Silver Hill and Silo, all those navigation things around. Site 8 Alpha was used by HTA. We used that for all our normal approaches in teaching and instruction. And I had a marginal student. I seem to get assigned a lot of marginal students.
Well, if you're a marginal instructor, then you know.
Oh, by the way, I had this guy.
I just got the middle finger salute for those not watching on video. Everybody,
I can still see the guy's face. I don't remember his name at all. I've introduced the normal approach in an H-34 in the training command. A normal approach is a transition maneuver, beginning on the downwind leg at 500 feet and 70 knots and terminating in a hover. So we're doing this, and he's flying into the first one. He's okay. The second one's okay. Nothing great. I said, give me a gun. Make it really good this time, will you? Okay. So he's coming downwind and reduces power, starts his turn, and it gets really quiet. And I say, okay, I got the aircraft. I take the aircraft and bring it in without benefit of power, set the thing down, a little roll to the landing, and we come to a stop. And I'm checking things out, see if I can figure out anything more. And he said, Captain, what did I do wrong? I know I screwed up, but what did I do wrong? And it occurs to me, maybe he thinks I took the aircraft because he screwed something up. And I said, look at your gauges. Do you notice anything? The engine tachometer is busted.
Tech's
not
working. There you go.
I said, no, actually, I think it's working perfectly well. It just indicates that the engine is not rotating. It ain't working. What do you think that might be? And his eyes just get so big and so big. He said, wow, did we have an engine failure here? I said, yeah. And one of us noticed it.
Yes, we did. Yeah, one of us did.
That was a fun experience. I love telling about that one at the club.
Well, yeah. So I'm assuming you guys got a ride out of there, and that airplane stayed there. That helicopter stayed there.
Yeah, probably. We just flag one of them down, climb up the side.
He gives a ride home.
Ride back when you're done. Just let us know when you're done with your hop, and then come over here and give us a ride back, because this one ain't going anywhere for a while.
That's too funny. Oh, the tax busted.
Yeah, no, it's working just like it's supposed to, actually.
Yeah, if you had another guess, right?
Yep.
I got a note here that says overloaded 34 goes into the water.
That sounds painful.
It does sound painful. I hope it wasn't you.
When we were overseas, during our 13 plus months in Westpac, there were 3 different occasions where 362 was fragged to go as a unit onto a carrier, under an LPH, landing platform helicopter.
Yep.
Thank you.
Landing, platform, helicopter. Yeah. Military jargon.
One day, probably in April or May of 67, we had an airplane, lost its pattern. He'd gotten his Charlie signal, but he couldn't make it out, and he went right into the water. Everybody got out.
Oh, geez.
Wingman came down, pulled him up. They hardly had time to get wet. But the airplane went glub, 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 went down to the bottom, right along with, that guy Davy Jones, the sailors talk about? Yeah, right down there.
The locker. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man.
And I was on the flight deck at the time. This one guy starts running like hell up to the line shack where the yellow sheets were kept. There's a name for it. I forget what they call it. It's where they kept the yellow sheets.
Yeah, maintenance control.
Maybe that was it. And he grabs the yellow sheets and he's writing things down on it. What the fuck are you doing? Every single piece of missing equipment in our squadron was on that.
It was on that helicopter.
That was pretty good. And then that was probably in late 66 that had happened.
Okay, because supply officers were relentless. If you lost a cartridge belt or a canteen, they tried to make you pay for it. And if it was lost in combat or an accident or something like that, you could get away with it. So, everything in the squadron that's missing, it was on that airplane.
Weirdest thing.
6, 8, 10 months later, the skipper gets a letter from Headquarters Marine Corps. And there's nothing in it but one page of the Xeroxed yellow sheet with equipment on board. And in red magic marker, field desk, 80 pounds.
Yes.
Something, 32 pounds. Adds up, adds them up, and it comes to like 6,400 pounds, which is way beyond the comment, no wonder your goddamn airplane sank. And we found out later that the guy at headquarters who had found it and had sent it to the skipper had been in the squadron at the time that happened. And he just wanted to jerk people around. That was good fun.
That's beautiful.
He ended up being on the, his name was Moody, and he ended up being on the transition team for the Osprey. And I don't remember whether he was working for Boeing or whether he was working for the Marine Corps. But he and the great guy who was my instructor and became one of my closest friends, my instructor at Softly Field in VT1, one of my closest friends. I spoke at his funeral in New Jersey. His name is Greg McAdams, but Spice knew him because they all called him Stinky McNasty.
Yes, and he talks about him in his book.
Yeah, he mentions it in the book.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I have yet to meet Spicer, but we probably will sometime. That was a fun one.
Right.
Okay. That's okay. So now I feel like I've done 150 crunches.
Yeah. And I think you were telling me this one. We have a note about One Eye's first mission. Is this the one you were chatting about yesterday in the pre-chat? One of your buds got hit in the face. No. Okay.
That's One Eye. That's One Eye. But this and the one I was talking about yesterday, that was his last mission.
Okay. Well, at least his first wasn't his last. So
his first mission was the squadron had been aboard ship for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
And we hated being aboard ship.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't get awakened in the middle of the night by mortar fire, but everything was air conditioned, so everybody got colds because it's 110 degrees out.
Right.
And then you come in and you're in air conditioning and you're shivering, and plus there are the ship is staffed by the U.S. Navy.
Right. There's the draw. There's the draw down. Right.
I don't know whether you've ever noticed this in your years in the Marine Corps, gentlemen, but a lot of naval officers are what we refer to as assholes. It was so bad. I flew night medevac all night one night. I launched like 4 times and got at least 8 missions. We got shot at every single pickup. Came back. All I wanted to do was get a shower and get some sleep. I take a shower, put on a clean flight suit, and I go in to get some night rats in the wardroom, ask them for some eggs, and they sit down, and some asshole lieutenant commander comes up and says, "Lieutenant, you're in the wardroom and you're wearing shower shoes." I said, "Yeah, I've been flying all night. I'm going back to hit the rack." "You are in the wardroom with shower shoes." Whereupon I stand up and I say, "Mr. 2.5 Stripes, you might not have heard about it, but there's a war going on out there, and I've been fighting it all night. And I just want to get some fucking sleep, and I'm going to get some food in my belly first." And he just goes apoplectic. So guess who gets invited to wear out some carpet in front of the skipper's desk the next day? He says, "Don't worry about it. Just go easy on these people." Okay. We had some good officers in our squadron. Can
I make an assumption?
So that's a sideline.
Hey, Gunny, can I make an assumption that lieutenant commander that was dressing you down in the wardroom for wearing shower shoes, was his shoes black by chance? Was he a non-aviator?
Actually, no. He was a brown shoe. He was.
That just even pisses me off even more.
Yeah. But I'll give him a break because he was fixed wing.
Okay.
Both shot us both in the face right there.
Yeah, he did. He didn't even say Fox.
We'll get to that.
That was a gunshot right in the face.
So
God.
So we've been aboard ship for about 3 weeks, and we're coming in. We've got the orders to go ashore in Key Ha, Vietnam, which was adjacent to Chu Lai.
Chu Lai, okay.
Key Ha was New River, and Chu Lai was Cherry Point.
Okay,
think of it that way.
Yeah, so they're pretty close.
And the skipper says, "Okay, the following officers will be flying aircraft, and the following officers will be flying aircraft back and forth, just bringing all our gear. I have been promised a 3-day stand down no flying, nothing going on within Vietnam for 3 days. We've got lots of time to get assigned to our tents, draw the equipment that we get from them. It'll be great. And tomorrow night, 1800, there will be an all hands muster at the club. I want every swinging dick to be there. You have no excuses for not being at the club. I want every man there, and I want every man drinking, because for the last 3 weeks we couldn't drink anything, right? Because we were aboard Navy ships, and everyone knows there's no alcohol aboard Navy.
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so we get everything done, and everything's moved ashore. 1800, we're at the club, and we complied with the skipper's orders.
Nice.
We were knee walking, slipping your own puke drunk, every single Marine in the squadron, including Ben, One Eye, who joined the squadron that day. He hadn't been aboard ship with us. He arrived from the States that morning, and they said, "You're going to 362. I said, "That's great. Where's 362? They're just coming ashore. Probably know some guys. Just go. They're up that way. That's where they're." So he's up at and he's this is a great war for me. What? And he gets there too.
Nice.
We roll down the hill, and we collapse. And somewhere between 0300 and 0400, T.O. Bong, retired as a bird colonel in the Wisconsin National Guard, or maybe it was Minnesota National Guard. Anyway, his first lieutenant, operations duty officer, comes up white as a sheet. He said, "You're not going to fucking believe this. We've got fragged for a mission tomorrow. We got a 3-day stand down. You can't make us fly tomorrow. We have a 16 plane launch.
What?
For one mission."
Oh boy.
And we're joining with 8 Hueys and 16 46s. We have to go up to Phu and pick up an ARVN battalion and insert them. And I can't fucking believe this. So
nobody's sober.
Nobody's sober. Now, some guys are squawking about
Time for Repete's
they
favorite question.
Snivel.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Absolutely. So we had the wonderful flight surgeon named DeVoe. I can't remember his first name. Still see his face. I'm definitely not a lifer.
Okay.
He was writing out downing chits for guys, and he couldn't even remember the guy. I don't know that lieutenant's name. Call him Huey. Huey, too drunk to fly. But we somehow get in the air. 16 H-34s.
Oh my God.
We were clip-clop 1-1 through clip-clop 1-16. The XO was flying 1-1. I was flying 1-1 FO, because they always have to have somebody to keep this.
Right. Yeah, somebody's got to watch
1-1 from crashing, right?
Somebody's got to watch the scene.
And we're launching it when the sun isn't up yet, and half of the heavies in the squadron weren't allowed to fly at night. So we launch, flying in the left seat of 1-16 is One Eye, Ben. First combat mission. Didn't even have a flight suit, had to borrow a hard hat. And so now we're up there, 16 airplanes at 2,500 feet. Now, you probably don't have this in the lawn darts you guys flew, but normally, since it's a 2-pilot aircraft, you alternate every other takeoff, every other landing. But when you have a 2.5-hour flight to get to the pickup zone,
you'll probably alternate.
Switch every half hour or so. We got 16 airplanes. We have 29 drunk pilots. That's not true. We had 29 hungover pilots. We had 3 who were still drunk.
Yeah, that's it.
So we take turns, and Ben tells the story wonderfully because he tells it from 1-16 way in the back. He said you'd see these guys.
You could see everything transpire.
Every once in a while, you'd see one go, just sort of start drifting off.
Where's he going?
Hey, get up! Oh, they'd forgotten who was flying and who was leaving. We got up there, and as Ben has said to me, God takes care of fools and drunks, and we qualified twice, every one of us.
Oh my gosh.
We got up there. Nobody got hurt. Nobody took any fire. It turned out to be a cold zone, and everything went just Joe to Ricky Tick. It was wonderful. That was his.
Oh, thank the Lord.
Well, that's a great story. So you guys were all drunk and hungover and drugged over.
Only three of them were drunk.
But that
29
only
were
happened in the old core. That doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
No,
never happened.
No, sir.
Oh.
No.
Never happened.
No.
You know, I never heard once, if you don't stop puking by the hold short, this flight's a kink.
Whoa. Let's not talk about that right now.
Okay,
That's
so repeat. I can figure kind of how you got your call sign, because your call sign was probably Dumbhead, and you checked into your squadron, and there was already somebody named Dumbhead.
Well,
it was the commander.
Yeah, it was a squadron commander at the RAG, and I was a Hawk. I was a Hawk missile officer before I went to flight school.
You'd been a pseudo grunt.
So, yeah. I was the redheaded stepchild. I wasn't a grunt, and I wasn't an air winger. Nobody liked us in Hawks.
Wow.
That's and Fig. I could tell you what his name is from his call sign.
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The best.
It could have been a lot worse.
None of us had call signs, but the fixed wing guys started having call signs before we did, and the best one I've ever heard of was a guy. I have no idea what squadron or who, but apparently his call sign was something. It was call sign, and on his first hop in a single seat A4, he ended up blowing the canopy at the whole short line.
Oh, oops.
Whoops.
He got a new call sign that day, and he was henceforth known as Pop Top.
There you go.
Yeah. You might not even appreciate it. This is back when Pop Top beer cans were a brand new thing.
Oh yeah.
We used to have to use
again.
one of those church keys to open beer cans.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
A bottle pop flat thing on the one end, and then a triangular one that would poke holes in the can with the other.
Right. Yeah. So one was a bottle opener, one was a can opener.
P-38 was for C-Rats.
So you sounds like you got shot at a couple times here. Did you get shot at when you pulled the recon team out?
Well, yeah, that happened. But there was a recon team where we were inserting them.
Okay.
And recon teams for the grunts and fixed wing people who wouldn't understand either one half or the other half of this. A recon team was generally 4 Marines, one of whom was carrying an M60 with bandoliers wrapped around him everywhere. The other 3 were laden down with ammo and maybe 1 can of C-Rats, and they'd go for 3 days. So we had a team, and I go in and I drop them off. The way we drop them off would be you'd go out and you'd make an approach, and somebody would land in one place and then take off, and then land in another place and wait 30 seconds and take off. And just so that people from far away are watching couldn't tell where you were inserting the team.
Okay.
So then we insert the team, and they all jump off and we go off, and I'm still at full power. I was at present, probably wasn't at 200 feet AGL, and I hear, a M16 3-round burst, and then nothing else. And all of a sudden, I hear, if there's bad shit going on, they will just click the microphone, and then you say, "Do you want us to come back and get you?" And they'll click it if they do, and because they don't want anybody else to hear them talking.
Okay.
But I start pulling around because I'm thinking they're going to want an immediate medevac, and the guy says, "You can come back and get us now." I say, "Okay, you taking fire? Everything's okay. Don't worry. Just come back and get us right where you dropped us." Okay. They come in, and settle down, and the machine gunner's there, big guy with a big grin, and he jumps off. One of the riflemen comes in, and then the fire team leader comes in, and he's got a deer around his neck. He had shot a deer, and they were taking some fresh meat back to their buddies.
Yeah, they are.
That That was good. Another time, this wasn't my mission, but it was when I was there. Guys were called to pull out a recon team who'd been out there for a day or two, and they weren't whispering, so they weren't in duress. They just get us out of here. Get us out of here real quick. What do you? And they put him out, got him on board, took off. So what was it? He says there were a bunch of monkeys and they were throwing coconuts at us. And they were going to give away our position no matter what. But we didn't want to get hit in the head by coconuts. Fucking gorillas throwing coconuts at us.
Damn communist monkeys.
They were, yeah, they're absolutely, they're worshipers of Uncle Ho. There's no question about it. Most of the recon missions I was on were pretty good. I did pulled out one team my last day in Vietnam, and there were 4 guys back to back, essentially just putting out rounds, and I landed almost on top of them. They dove in and went out, and I took a couple of rounds and was losing oil pressure and gaining oil temperature, and said I'm gonna set down over here at this. We're near the mouth of the Qua Viet River, which is really close to the DMZ, which is demilitarized zone.
Right.
And it was very close to the division of North Vietnam and South Vietnam, formerly separate nations. And and there was a Vietnamese swift boat base there. So set down there. Co-pilot picks us up, takes us out to the ship. Oh, we're aboard ship again. We're going ashore. Coming ashore the following day, and there are about 8 of us who are going to rotate home and pick us up. Everybody's okay. Take us out to the ship. They get us new airplanes, and I say, you know something? I'm going home tomorrow. I'm not really interested in getting an emergency frag for an extraction of a recon team again. They said, don't worry. This is just ferrying an aircraft back to Dong Ha. I said, okay. We've been feet wet for about, a microsecond, and the engine quits.
Oh, shit.
And I just go in and go straight ahead. We've been feet dry for about a second.
Yeah.
Straight ahead, and I landed it, and I was within 50 yards of the aircraft that still was there that I had just abandoned. So my last day, I didn't get shot down twice, but I made unplanned off airport landings twice. My last day in Vietnam. And then the next day we got ferried ashore. The whole squadron was coming ashore at a different place in Dong Ha that day. And there were 8 of us who were going to rotate. And we asked the duty officer, how are we going to get home? What's going on? They said, okay, we've got some seats in an aircraft, some seats in a convoy. I'm going to just wait. Give me another hour to straighten this thing out. Okay. Now, this was when the H-46s were really new in country, at 3 or 4 months, and was experiencing terrible uncommanded maintenance problems. The 46 would break in half.
Oh,
at midpoint, and the torque on the two rotor heads would just rip it in half. And they figured out what it was later on. Yeah. All the brakes were at the same station, at the same
it's the same airframe number on the same distance back in the middle of the airframe,
where there was a seam in the monocoque of the fuselage.
Okay,
but none of us wanted to fly 46s. And an hour later, when the duty officer says, "Okay, we've got 4 seats on a 46." Going back, actually 2 on each of 2 46s, flying back to Da Nang, and we've got 4 seats in an Arvin convoy that is driving down, going through Hai Fan Pass. Yeah. We were fighting to get on the convoy.
Yeah, I'll take the convoy. Thank you.
That's right. Yeah. But I ended up getting on a 53, which were even newer in country, and they didn't dare do anything dangerous with the shitters. They did. They were brand new. They wanted everything to be successful with them. So I got a ride in a 53, and it was the only time I ever rode in a 53.
Is that right?
Yeah. You know how many times I've ridden a 46?
0.
Zero.
Good
All
plan.
right.
0. There you go.
Good plan. Well, thank you folks for joining us on this week's episode of So There I Was. We hope you've enjoyed these great stories with Gunny today. And as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, this will be broken into 2 parts. So get ready for more incredible stories next week with Gunny. He'll be back to continue right where we left off. Before we part ways, I want to tell you about a gathering spot located on Main Street in Hanover, New Hampshire. That's Lou's Restaurant and Bakery. It's a place where Marines and other veterans come together every first Friday of the month for breakfast at 7 a.m. It's a hub of shared laughter, camaraderie, and unforgettable stories. The next get-together is Friday, June 2nd, 2023. One other thing before we head into the outro, you can now support us at sothereiwas.us/Patreon. For about $1 a show, you can join the cool kids who help us cover the cost of bringing you this show every week. Well, the podcast will always remain free. We truly appreciate from the bottom of our hearts those of you that are able to step up and help us defray the costs of bringing these great stories to you every week. So until next week, we head into the outro. Well, a couple other thank yous we got to throw out there real quick. First and foremost, Fig, do you remember who it is? Some Dave guy. What was his name?
Is it Dave, my man Hamilton? Thank you, Dave Hamilton.
That's right. He's the one that gives us all the know-how and the expertise and helps put us up and online. And we're grateful to Dave for everything he's done for us. Thank you so much to our new sponsor, HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/SoThereIWas16 and use code SoThereIWas16 for 16 free meals and free shipping with HelloFresh. That is America's #1 meal kit. Very cool stuff. As we mentioned earlier in the show, we've also got a glossary page. The glossary page is sothereiwas.us/glossary. We have a subscribe page, sothereiwas.us/subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, sothereiwas.us/Facebook. Same thing on Twitter. Email us if you got questions. Reach out to Sticks at sothereiwas.us or Fig or RePete, RePete at sothereiwas.us. Keep doing what you've been doing all along. Please share this show with as many friends as you can.
Share the show.
It just isn't that hard. Tell a friend about it. sothereiwas.us/subscribe will get you to the page you need to be at so you can listen to every show when it comes out. We try to come out Thursday mornings. And I'm not sure. Fig, I think I'm hearing something in the background. What? You hear anything?
You know what? Those are the Dos Gringos, the 2 F-16 pilots that make the Air Force sound good.
They do indeed. We're grateful to them for coming on our show, for letting us use their music for our show. It's a wonderful set of music. 4 albums, Dos Gringos. So thank you to them. So everybody else, in the meantime, stay safe, check 6. And we usually give this at the beginning of the show, but don't let go of the collective.
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. Cause you're going down the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
What's the song say, Fig?
It's over.